Hello, you guys. It is I, your lovely hostess, Eve, and I am back with another art creation into a masterpiece. So, the piece we're working on is called Lucid Dreams. I like how this is turning out. We are doing some color blocking now. I challenged myself this time with doing 4 colors for a piece. And we just mixed those colors to make other colors. But the colors that I chose were pink, purple. Can you guess the other two? Black and white. Which I think most people don't consider black and white to be colors because we tend to use them for everything, but I'm considering them. I wanted this to be kind of like a little bit of shading, but mostly flatter colors because I really wanted to emphasize the different shades of those colors. So you may see a little bit of shading in the actual body parts, but not really in like the pieces in the background and stuff. I am doing my color blocking right now, so you see that I am painting in areas with specific colors. One, it is because I am trying to put the colors that I want on the canvas, just so that I know as reference what the colors are. So when I come back, I know how to match the colors. Matching colors is a little bit of a practice that you have to do. I like to play that one game where you have to like get the color correct to match the object. I'm really good at this game, but it also helps me in my art because I do a lot of color matching. I mix a lot of my colors, so I just have to be very sure about how to get that ratio correct so I can recreate that. So yes, I map out my colors in the areas that I want them, and then I draw in these areas that I'm going to put the colors. You see that little claw thing up top? Yeah. One of the reasons why I do this is because I don't always know exactly where I'm going to put certain parts of the picture. So I block it out and then I draw most of the things in before I get too far so I can really see that this is where I want that piece to be. And if it's not exactly where I want it to be, I just kind of paint over it because you can always paint over it. That is the magic of layering. But anyway, yes, so I am challenging myself here with these colors and also doing the surreal stuff and also putting my emotions into my art. I really wanted something that was going to be feminine, of course, delicate, yes, but also kind of like dark, a little scary. Um, like the woman is pretty, but it's also weird looking, right? It's also like, I'm not exactly sure if this is a safe place for me, especially if she can disconnect her arm and teleport it to the top of the screen. Um, but it is also more of like for example, the colors. I like the purple because the purple represents a lot of mystery, a lot of psychic abilities. I want it to be more on intuition base and how I am intuitively moving through, creating this art. And then the pinks are because I'm trying to connect more of my emotions, connect more of the vulnerability here, the more softer inner pink side of me, the pink meat, if you will. And by that, I do mean like, below the surface, below um, the outer shell that we showcase to other people. And it's pouring into the psychic purple woman because we have to be vulnerable to really express ourselves, to really create. As an artist, I'm not sure for the other artists out there, you guys can let me know, but I find that I create my best work when I have something going on emotionally. Not to say I put myself in those emotional situations, but I do find that when I'm in an emotional state, I can bust out art like no tomorrow. Um, and recently I was watching this show called Empire. And Empire is with Terrence Howard and Taraji P. Henson. If you know these people, I only know a few actors, but I'm definitely familiar with these ones. Um, they really work in the music industry, and a lot of the times when they're talking to the musicians, they're basically telling them, they're like, you need to pull from your emotions. You need to act like this is your last day. Like, this means so much more. Go back to this moment when you were feeling this thing and make us feel that. And that's what I want to do in my art. I want my art to have feeling. I do want it to look aesthetically pleasing in the area that you decide to put it in, but I also want it to be a think piece, to be a topic of discussion. And I want you to be able to interpret what you think these things mean. So I do put in weird little caveats. I put in these little Easter eggs for you to find so that when you're studying the art, it reflects an emotion, it reflects an idea, and it makes you go places. It makes you think about things differently. So I do a lot of, like I said, blocking here, but I also am doing more line work than I was in my previous speeches. I am a line work heavy person. I enjoy adding really detailed aspects to my art. So, in the next few series that you're going to see, you're probably going to see a lot more of detailed work. This is just because now that I'm getting settled, I'm just trying to flex my artistic muscles and get out, some of my immediate feelings, my immediate thoughts. And then I will get into the more detailed work because that is going to be a much longer series to finish. This took me 2 days. Like I knew what I wanted to do. I drew it out. I've written in my affirmations, which if my last videos, I like to write affirmations on my artwork to promote some of that emotional pull that I'm going for. But I also uh, wanted to be able to get back into the rhythm, get back into the idea of painting a lot. I don't paint every day because I have other projects, but I do paint a lot, especially when I'm like, I just need to do something creative. I know I can pull out my paints and create something. These are going to be made into prints soon, so please look out for that. I am envisioning bathroom curtains and prints that you can put on your wall, and maybe even some carpet or bath tiles or something. This piece is supposed to, go with you. It's supposed to be something that is interesting to stare at and interesting to interpret. But if I'm a trippy girl. So you turn on that blue or the purple light, black light, whatever you want to call it. You put on your mood lighting. When the light hits it in different ways, I promise you, it looks so cool and so out of this world. Um, right now, my current fascination outside of this Nigerian magic awards that they had is Afropunk. So it's more futuristic style. It's more futuristic kind of aspects. And I am really going to be putting that into my next set of artwork. So I hope that you can see it and I hope that you like it. But with this one in particular, I enjoy the coloring, of course, but I enjoy the interpretation of the feelings that are expressed here. I like that she's sitting in this pool that is dripping down from this emotional vulnerability because sometimes I feel like we're drowning in our emotions sometimes. And whether we try to swallow them down or not, they spill out, they spill over. But she still looks beautiful and in control. I love that for her.